Hi guys, I am just drinking a cup of coffee because I'm a little bit tired and Elijah is enjoying his nap. I want to talk really quick about sleep times, nap times, and bedtime. I hope that you're getting enough sleep because that's very, very important. So, getting enough sleep helps your mind grow, it helps your body grow big and strong, and you really need to be making sure that you're sleeping. And if you're not taking a nap, that you're still having some quiet time each day. So during quiet time, you could be doing some puzzles or reading some books or drawing some pictures, just something really relaxing and calming, and it's just a way to decompress, which is another word for relax. And I'm sure that your parents and your loved ones would really appreciate some quiet time because I'm sure you're keeping them very, very, very busy. So for today's story time, I have two books again, and just like last time, I have a Pete the Cat book and I have the Nuts book. So these are books that we have read in class, and I'm going to read them to you today, and I'll be posting activities throughout the week next week, an activity calendar, and some more story times. And I'd also love if you have any suggestions of books you want to read, you can message me and I will look for them and try to read them. And if you want to send me videos of you guys reading or you guys doing activities, I would absolutely love that because I miss your faces so much. So we are going to start with Pete the Cat and the Bedtime Blues. So the author of this book is Kimberly and James Dean. So the last book we read, the author was Eric Litwin, but this one is by Eric Litwin's friends, Kimberly and James Dean. So we're going to go ahead and read this one. Pete and the gang had a great day. They had been at the beach, surf and sun, and tons of fun. But when the sun went down, they didn't want the fun to end, and Pete had an idea. What do you think Pete's idea was? Hey, how about a sleepover? More time for tons of fun. Groovy, said Alligator. Pete's place. Let's go. The party was far out, but they knew they couldn't stay up all night. The gang decided it was time to say good night. On went the pajamas and out went the light. Good night, Gus. Good night, Alligator. Good night, Toad. Good night, Pete. Pete was just about to catch some Z's when clap, clap, clap. Who did that? Pete asked. It was me, said Grumpy Toad. I don't want to go to bed. I want to clap instead. Pete covered his head. This cool cat needs to go to bed. Good night, Gus. Good night, Alligator. Good night, Toad. Good night. Time to sleep. Pete tried again to catch some Z's. Rat-a-tat-tat. Who did that? Asked Pete. It was me, said Gus the platypus. I don't want to go to bed. I want to jam instead. Pete covered his head. This cool cat needs to go to bed. Time to sleep. Good night, Gus. Good night, Alligator. Good night, Toad. Good night. Pete closed his eyes to catch some Z's when he heard munch, munch, munch. Pete had a hunch. It was Alligator. He was always up for eating. What is Alligator eating? Is he eating some pizza? What could Pete do? What could he do so his friends would stop making so much noise so he could go to sleep? All the clapping, the rat-a-tat-tatting, and munching was giving him the bedtime blues. But Pete had a groovy idea. He got out his favorite bedtime story and he started to read, first to himself and then to the gang. Pete noticed it was finally quiet. No more clapping, no more rat-a-tat-tatting, and no more munching. They all settled down and no one made a sound. So they're listening to Pete read his story. Pete yawned and he turned off the light. Good night, sleep tight, time to catch some Z's. Tomorrow was another day for surfing sun and tons of fun. So that is that story. Pete the Cat and the Bedtime Blues. It's very important that you get your sleep so the next day you can wake up and have energy and do lots of fun things. Or take your nap and then wake up in the afternoon and have energy to do lots of fun things. Okay, so we're going to read one more story. This is part of the last series that we read. So this is The Nuts, Bedtime at the Nut House. And the author of the story is Eric Litwin. And the illustrator, the person who draws the pictures, is Scott Magoon. I know you guys love this one. It was time for bed, the day was done, but Hazel and Wally were still up having fun, and they sang together, "We're nuts, we're nuts, we're nuts." So Big Mama Nut in her mama voice said, "All little nuts need to go up to bed." Sweet Hazel Nut would not go to her room. She wiggled and giggled and howled at the moon. Ha ha, ho! Then Hazel and Wally kept singing their tune. "We're nuts, we're nuts, we're nuts, we're nuts." So Big Mama Nut in her big voice said, "All little nuts need to go up to bed." Wally Nut danced like a baby baboon. He wiggled and giggled and howled at the moon. Hee hee, how! Then Hazel and Wally kept singing their tune. "We're nuts, we're nuts, we're nuts, we're nuts, we're nuts." So Big Mama Nut in her bigger voice said, "All little nuts need to go up to bed." Does she look happy? Does Mama Nut look happy? No. Did Hazel stop singing? Fig a nut, fig a nut, fig a nut. No. Did Wally stop playing? Cha 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 cha. No. They didn't even hear a word that their mama was saying. They bounced up and down like two happy balloons. They wiggled and giggled and howled at the moon. How! Then Hazel and Wally kept singing their tune. What's their tune? Ready? "We're nuts, we're nuts, we're nuts, we're nuts, we're nuts." Uh-oh. How do you think Mama feels? Do you think she's happy with her nuts? Or do you think she's mad? Let's see. So Big Mama Nut in her biggest voice said, "All little nuts need to go up to bed." She does not look happy. Those nuts did not budge and Mama gave them the look. She put her foot down and her long fingers shook. She marched them to bed and she tucked them in tight. Then just before Mama Nut turned off the light, Hazel asked, "Are we still your sweet little nuts?" So Big Mama Nut said, "No matter what, you will always be my sweet little nuts." And that nutty family sang together, "We're nuts, we're nuts, we're nuts," in their dreams. Does Mama look happy or sad now? She looks happy. She's happy. Why? She's happy because her nuts finally went to bed and listened to her. And all was calm and nutty and right, so Mama Nut turned off the light. Good night, little nuts. Good night. So that's the end of that book. You should always listen to your mom, your dad, your grandma, your aunt, or whoever you need to listen to. And bedtime is very, very important. So that is our story time for today. Like I said, next week I'll be posting activities. I want to do some more interactive things with you guys because I do want to see your faces and I want to see what you all are up to. And I am going to be reading some Eric Carle books because I have lots and I have some fun ideas with them. So I hope you have a great weekend. I love you all very much and I hope I get to see you really soon.